Welcome to A Word from the Wise, the podcast from Solwise, where we talk about products, news, or anything that you might be interested in within the industry. We do these on Spotify, Amazon Music, or anywhere where you get your podcast from. Or if you prefer to see us, you can scare yourself and go and watch us over on YouTube and enjoy today's podcast. Welcome to A Word from the Wise, the Solwise podcast. With me today is Daniel. It's becoming more regular now, isn't it? Just me and you.
Yeah.
Steve's not interested anymore.
No.
So today we're going to talk about the PATRIOT-NANO, which is the new incarnation of the Patriot that we've been doing for quite some time. It's a little bit different than previous ones, isn't it? Whereas previously there's been two bits to it. This has got one bit with extra antennas, I suppose. And the idea really being about to simplify it for people. So what I was thinking is if we go through what's in the box and then we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah.
Good with that? So it's a plain box, so if you are reselling them on, you can put your own labels on. You get the actual, it's stuck in on the antenna connectors. So you get the device itself. So this is the Nano.
Looks very different.
It is very different.
Black now.
Yeah. Yeah. The antenna's not so different though, so it's very similar. I think that possibly is even the same antenna that was on the old Patriots. The old this bit that went outside, isn't it? You get your 8-meter cable, which is a nice chunky bit of cable, and this is antenna cable as opposed to the USB cable it used to be. So what connectors have we got on there? So we've got an N-type to go to the antenna.
N-type and then SMA.
And is it SMA or is it reverse SMA, if I'm being pedantic?
It's a reverse SMA socket, it looks like.
Yeah, okay. You get your indoor antennas, so you get two of these little dipole ones. If you're watching, they're little black ones about 3 inches long. There's a USB extension cable there. I assume that's for powering it, is it?
Yeah, that's the USB cable for power, and then Jubilee clips.
And
for
some
helping with the
waterproof
mounting
tape.
And waterproof tape.
Yeah. There is actually a USB plug as well, so you don't have to
That's
put
the
one of
power
those in.
plug,
The power
yeah.
plug, so that's quite handy. And lastly, there is a mounting bracket. So the idea with this one is the mounting is a permanent fixture, really, isn't it? However,
That's a pole mount bracket. Yeah.
So, but we do have some optional.
Suction
That's
cups,
the word, suction cups. I couldn't think what they were called.
which
Yes.
do fit into that and allow you to just stick it on a window or something.
Which, to be fair, is probably how most people are going to mount it, aren't they? If you've got it on your motorhome or your camper van or something, you're not going to put a permanent mount there because you're not going to be able to drive with it on. So the suction cups, I think, will probably be quite a good seller with this. It's a shame they didn't put them in the kit, really, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just about like a couple pound extra. So.
Yeah, so, and they are next to it on the page on the website as well, so that should be easily found as a kit. So essentially, what does the kit do, Daniel? Do you want to explain that to us?
Yeah, so it's often referred to as a Wi-Fi repeater kit or a Wi-Fi booster kit, and what it does is, the idea of it is that it looks at any Wi-Fi signal that's available but is perhaps far away, or especially if this is the kind of thing that you're going to be using on a campsite with like a motor vehicle of some kind or a caravan, where Wi-Fi will struggle to pass through the metal exterior of your vehicle. The idea of this is that you've got an antenna that goes on the outside and therefore isn't affected by the metal that it has to pass through, which can pick up the Wi-Fi signal and then bring it on a cable to the actual
The Nano
USB
itself.
Patriot inside. Yeah.
And I've just noticed that's got the mounting bracket is actually ready for you to screw the end
Yeah,
side
it goes
through.
on the other end if you look.
Oh, I see. Oh, here we go. So it would go that way on the wall,
Yeah,
and then stand upwards off the top.
yeah.
That's quite a neat solution, that, isn't it? if you're listening to this, it's worth going and have a look at the pictures on the page, because that's actually, I'm quite impressed with that actually. To be honest, this is the first time I've seen one, because I've been off sick for a little while, haven't I? And then just come back to it. So that is a really neat solution, that.
Yeah, and you can see where you put the waterproof tape on there.
Yeah. Or you could put some silicone on there if you wanted it permanent, couldn't you? Which might be better if you were going to keep moving it and keep putting it away. So how do you power it then?
Well, the only power you need is going into this bit, which is the nano that you have on the inside.
Yeah.
And it's just a USB connection, basically.
So it's got this black cable here.
Yeah.
How does that fit on there?
So you see it's got this USB port here, which you put the socket end of that on.
Yeah.
The USB cable, and then the other end will go probably into this adapter that comes with it that you then just plug into a 3-pin socket.
But if you had, so like in my camper van, we've got USB ports. I could put it straight into that, couldn't I?
Yeah, assuming it's the typical voltage you'd expect of about 12 volts.
Yeah.
That would power it. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's quite a neat solution.
If you've got your own kind of this type of thing, then that as well you can just reuse.
Yeah, because that is actually quite a chunky plug, isn't it? So
it's quite a well-made one.
Yeah, it is definitely a quality one, but yeah, a chunky one. So the antenna then, what sort of Wi-Fi is that?
That's dual band, so it can pick up 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz.
And more campsites are doing 5 gig these days.
Yeah,
as well,
most will probably still do just 2.4 because it's the bare minimum. But if you have any that do 5, which is obviously faster than 2.4, then this does let you take advantage of it.
And less congestion as well, I imagine, over 5 gig as well.
Yeah, perhaps there's also the range consideration. So you may need to. If they are offering both, it may be worth trying both out and seeing which one is faster, because it could vary from site to site. Obviously, the main difference between this and the previous Patriot kits we've done is that what we call the Patriot is now just this one router type device on the inside.
Yeah.
And the antenna that goes on the outside, it's not a device in its own right like the Patriot was, which you could buy as a standalone item and plug into a laptop or something like that. It is just an aerial, which just goes into an aerial socket. But
then you've only got one thing to set up as well, haven't you? So you don't have to set up two things.
It's still something that you have on the outside like you did previously, so in that way it's similar. But it's not its own device, it's just an extension of what you've got inside, which is the key bit of kit.
And does it still work in the same way in that the Wi-Fi that's provided inside your unit can be used by multiple devices?
Yes. So again, one of the big reasons these are popular on campsites is that if you've got a site that has you log into the Wi-Fi and issues out logins per device, perhaps that you may even need to pay for.
Yeah.
This simplifies it because you just need the one login, which you'll apply to this Patriot-NANO, and then any other device that you connect to the Patriot-NANO is just using the Patriot-NANO's login. They don't need their own login codes.
Cheating the system then.
You can think of it like that. Yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent. I think it's a real neat, nifty little device, that, isn't it? So I think that's potentially could be much more user friendly than we've had in the past, if you've only got the one thing that you have to set up.
Yeah.
So it says scan to connect on it. What does that mean? You just scan
that's
that
just a
QR
code. It just takes you to the IP address web configuration page, which is the same as on the previous Patriot kit we've had. It uses the same interface, and so if you've used that before, then you already know how to set it up. Right.
Well, that's quite straightforward as well then.
Yeah, it's just a 3-step process basically. It's dead simple.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you for either watching or listening to today's podcast. If you've got any ideas, pop us an email over to sales@solwise.co.uk, and we will see you next time.